He is the architect of our perceived reality, a flawed creator who shaped a prison. He is the gatekeeper of its end, the angel of death, controlling the cycle of our entrapment. And he is the perversion of celestial power, the evil Michael, or the false Michael, twisting light into malevolence, and this is Saklas. He embodies the darkest corners of Gnostic cosmology, a figure that challenges everything you thought you knew about creators, angels, and the very nature of existence. So first we're going to address Saklas's potential identity as the Demiurge. This isn't a matter of semantics, it's a cosmic indictment. To call him the Demiurge is to say he's not a mere agent of some high power, but the architect of our perceived reality. But this wasn't a divine act of creation like those described in traditional religious texts. It was a shaping of pre-existing chaos, a clumsy attempt to impose order by a being who fundamentally misunderstood the nature of existence. He built a cage out of ignorance and a staggering arrogance that blinded him to the Pleroma. The Demiurge aspect, this role as the flawed creator, fundamentally explains the inherent imperfections that plague our reality in Gnostic thought. Pain, suffering, illusion aren't accidental byproducts, they're the very bricks and mortar of Saklas's handiwork. He didn't create a paradise, he created a trap, a labyrinth designed to keep the divine spark within humanity imprisoned. The material world in this view is a grand deception, a stage set by a being who sought to mimic true divinity, but only managed to produce a distorted reflection. It's a realm where the soul is constantly misled, where the true nature of reality is obscured by the shadows and illusions cast by Saklas's limited perception. This role of Demiurge isn't just a footnote. It's the foundation upon which everything else rests. It sets the stage for the entire Gnostic narrative. He's not just a bad angel or a minor villain. He's the architect of our perceived reality and the one who shaped the very ground we walked on. His flawed creation dictates the rules of the game, the limitations of our existence. Gnostics sought to escape this reality, to break free from the Demiurge's control, not through physical means, but through Gnosis. And to understand Saklas as a Demiurge is to understand the core of the Gnostic struggle, a battle against the very fabric of a reality built on deception and ignorance. Adding another layer of dread, Saklas's association with the angel of death extends far beyond the mere act of taking lives. Within the Gnostic context, it's a chilling assertion of control over the entire cycle of existence within the material prison. He's not simply a reaper, but the gatekeeper of transitions, dictating the terms of our confinement. His role is to ensure that the souls trapped within the Demiurge's creation remain within its confines, even in what we perceive as death. He doesn't offer release. It's just a continuous cycle, a forced reincarnation within the flawed reality he shaped. It's a terrifying idea that the one who made the prison also controls the only exit. The Demiurge, the architect of our perceived prison, is also the one who escorts souls through its exit. This isn't a benevolent guide. It's a cosmic warden ensuring his prisoners don't escape. He controls both the beginning and the end. Imagine a prison where the architect is also the executioner, the judge, and the parole officer. This control over the entire lifespan of a soul reinforces the Gnostic concept of the material world as a trap, and it's a self-sustaining system designed to perpetuate its own existence. It's a closed loop, and it's controlled by one person, or one entity, Saklas. This angel of death aspect amplifies Saklas's power to an almost unbearable degree, transforming him into a figure of ultimate control. Not just a jailer, he maintains the walls, he's the one who decides when your sentence is up, when your time within a material prison is over, and when you go next. This isn't a release into freedom. It's a transfer from one cell to another, and he dictates the terms of your existence from birth to death and beyond, ensuring that the soul remains bound to his creation. It's a terrifying absolute control that removes all hope of true freedom from within the material realm. You also have the evil Michael persona, or the false Michael, and it's a chilling inversion of angelic virtue. This isn't just about being bad, it's about a fundamental perversion of celestial power. He takes the form of Michael, a figure associated with divine protection and righteous might, and twists it into a weapon of destruction and chaos. He becomes a dark reflection, a corrupted mirror image embodying the very antithesis of what an angel should represent. Imagine a being that wields the light of the heavens to cast shadows, using divine authority to inflict suffering. And this is the essence of Saklas in this persona, a celestial being turned instrument of malevolence. This corruption is key to understanding the Gnostic view of power. It demonstrates that even forms perceived as inherently divine are susceptible to perversion. It shows how power in and of itself is morally neutral, a tool that can be wielded for good or evil. and Saklas' fall from grace isn't just a personal tragedy, it's a cosmic warning. It illustrates the vulnerability of celestial beings to the corrupting influences of the material world and the Demiurge's flawed creation. He serves as a dark example of how even the most luminous forms can be warped and twisted, becoming instruments of darkness and oppression. The very form of Michael, a symbol of hope and protection, is turned into a symbol of dread and control. This persona also highlights the Gnostic perspective on power's inherent ambiguity. It's not inherently good or inherently evil. It's a force that can be used for both creation and destruction. Saklas, in his evil Michael guise, demonstrates the latter. He takes the celestial power associated with Michael and uses it to perpetuate the Demiurge's control, to maintain the illusion of the material prison. He becomes a symbol of how even divine power can be used to enslave and to manipulate and to perpetuate suffering. And this is a crucial distinction for the Gnostics, that power without Gnosis is a dangerous tool. It is not the power that saves, but the knowledge. Combining these roles, Demiurge, Angel of Death, and Evil Michael, we see Saklas as the ultimate oppressor, a figure of terrifying control. He's not just a distant, abstract deity. He's the architect of the very reality we inhabit, the warden who dictates the terms of our existence, and the corrupted angel who delights in our suffering. He's the embodiment of the Gnostic nightmare, a being who wields creation, death, and celestial power as weapons of enslavement. This isn't just about physical imprisonment, it's about the imprisonment of the soul, the manipulation of consciousness itself. He's not just a jailer, but a torturer and a manipulator. He embodies the Gnostic struggle against the material world, the very fabric of our perceived reality. He's the personification of the illusions and deceptions that keep souls trapped to ignorance. He represents the formidable adversary that Gnostics believed they had to overcome to achieve liberation. His existence challenges the core tenets of mainstream religious thought, forcing us to question the nature of creation, the purpose of death, and the very concept of divine goodness. He is the manifestation of the Gnostic belief that the material world is a lie, and he is the one that enforces that lie. He is the barrier between humanity and true salvation. Saklas is a figure that challenges our fundamental understanding of creators, angels, and death itself. He's a stark reminder that even the most seemingly divine figures can be instruments of darkness, that power can be corrupted, and that reality itself may be a carefully constructed illusion. He compels us to reconsider our assumptions about the universe and our place within it. He's not a comforting figure, he's a terrifying one, designed to shake us from our complacency and force us to confront the possibility that everything we believe to be true may be a lie. He is the embodiment of the Gnostic fear, that the very beings we worship may be our jailers. Saklas, Demiurge, the flawed creator who shaped our perceived prison, Angel of Death, the gatekeeper of our material existence, and false Michael, the corrupted celestial being who twists divine power into a tool of oppression. He stands as a chilling convergence of power, a trinity of roles that embodies the darkest and most unsettling aspects of Gnostic cosmology. He's not just a character in an ancient myth, he's a symbol of the Gnostic struggle against the very nature of reality, a personification of the fears and anxieties that lurk beneath the surface of our perceived existence. He is the embodiment of the Gnostic belief that the world is a trap. His existence forces us to confront uncomfortable questions about the nature of creation, the purpose of death, and the very concept of divine authority. He challenges our assumptions about the universe, compelling us to consider the possibility that our reality is not a benevolent gift, but a carefully constructed illusion. He is a dark mirror, reflecting back the shadows of our own fears and doubts, forcing us to confront the possibility that the beings we worship may be our jailers. He is a reminder that power, even when wielded by seemingly divine figures, can be corrupted, twisted, and used to enslave. So what are your thoughts on this whole thing? Does his existence challenge your understanding of reality? Does it force you to consider the nature of creation, death, and divine power? Does the idea of a flawed creature, a malevolent angel of death, and a corrupted celestial being resonate with any fears or anxieties within you? What if Saklas is just one of those three things? A false Michael or the angel of death? Talk to me. Let me know. Ask your questions. I'll try to answer them as best as I can. Have a good day.